Hey there folks, this is Greeny welcoming you to a brand new video. This is going to be a video about my favourite games from quite a few genres. I'm not going to say every genre. There's too many out there now and too many sub-genres. But I saw this idea, I saw somebody else do this. I think his name is Eric Langdon on YouTube. So I thought I'd give it a go and we'll see how it goes. So, first genre I want to talk about is the action-adventure genre. And my favourite has to be a Zelda game. I think that's my favourite series of all time. So I've gone for, even though it's hard to pick, I've gone for Twilight Princess. Just because of the sort of darker themes and the more realisticness that I like. I like Wind Waker a lot as well. That could be my favourite easily. Or Ocarina of Time, or any of the 2D ones, or most of them. Yeah, I've gone for Twilight Princess just to pick one. I love the music, the sort of depressing nature of the music, the relaxing nature, the happier songs like Hylia. I love the characters, like everyone from the farm at the start is so well done. So the people you meet in Kakariko Village, just loads of them. I love all the characters, they're so unique in this game. But they still have the sort of Zelda quirks, there's still Zoras, there's still Gorons, there's all that sort of stuff. I love the unique locations, like Goron, Kakariko Village is the best Kakariko Village we've had so far. I like the Ocarina of Time one as well, but I think this one's sort of westernised, cowboy westernised, and the music's nice to go with it. So yeah, I like it a lot. And that's my favourite one, because all the dungeons are really interesting as well. There's no dull ones. Like, my problem with, say, Skyward Sword is that the dungeons are so forgettable. Like, I like the desert, the ship in the desert, that dungeon's good, but other than that, I don't think there's any I really remember even. So, yeah, there's that. My favourite JRPG. Okay, this is my favourite genre, so it was really hard to pick this one. In the end I went with something maybe a little bit typical, but it's just the one I always think of when I think of JRPGs, and that's Final Fantasy IX. I love all of the party members except for, Amaranth doesn't have enough fleshing out really for my liking, and he just gets left in the background because of his quieter nature as well, so I don't know, I don't like him as much, but I like everyone else. I think the music is incredible. Again, music means a lot to me in games. Melodies of Life is stunning, and all the different iterations throughout the game of it. And I like You're Not Alone. That's a standout one for any Final Fantasy game, I think. So I like that a lot. The story, of course, is amazing. It's incredible, and how it's told is really nice. The cinematics go in the right places and they really work. Like a lot of games, you get cinematics like that back on PS1 and PS2 days maybe, and they would just be forced in there and it wouldn't really matter if they were there or not. But in Final Fantasy IX it really seems to pick up the drama and the pace and stuff. Final Fantasy VIII was the same. So yeah, and I really like the old school gameplay. I like how each of the party members has their own jobs. There can be some overlap, like Dagger and Eiko, both sort of white mage and summoners, but they're still different enough. So next up we got the Western RPGs. I thought it would make sense. I don't like Western RPGs very much at all. Like, I don't like the Oblivion, I don't like the Morrowinds, I don't like the Fallouts and all that. But there is one that I like quite a bit, and I think is considered a Western RPG, and that is Fable. I like how you can be either good or evil. I like how you have that choice. I love the British accents. Like, they can be so cheesy and over the top, but that just adds. And I've played Fable 2, but I didn't like it quite as much. I think the first game was pretty perfect in its own short, wrapped up way for me. But I've only played the first Fable and I really liked it. But no, I played the second one, but I liked the first one more. Okay, simulation games, sim games. I like The Sims. That's the one that springs to mind automatically, but it's not my favourite. My favourite, I think, is Theme Park World, and that's just because it's so much fun. You got the little black blob who just talks in a Scottish accent for some reason. And it's so funny. The way you can trap your customers on the paths by taking paths away and readding, and sometimes they just get trapped anyway, because that's a bug. But it's a bug I like. Brings back memories, Yeah, it's the humour of it, and building your own theme park. Who doesn't like theme parks? I also like Theme Hospital, but I never completed it. I wasn't good enough at it. I got to the sort of earthquakey stuff, and then I didn't get much further than that. But Theme Park World, yeah. Next up, strategy games. Okay, this was when I had to decide. I like Fire Emblem games enough, so long as you don't automatically lose your characters. So I like the more modern ones, more the older ones. The GameCube one's my favourite, though, ironically. But no, my favourite strategy game is Pikmin 3. Now, I like all three Pikmin games, but Pikmin 3 gets away from... It has a timed aspect, but it's not so serious, it's not so strict, it's not so... I don't think it ends the game if you reach it, or I never reached the time limit, so I'm not sure. But Pikmin 3 adds a bit of story element, a bit at the start that really adds a bit more to the game. And I really like the different Pikmin types. I love taking a group of like purple Pikmins that sort of hit for shit. Really good damage with them. Yeah, Pikmin's just that cutesy type of cutesiness that is actually a bit harder than you'd expect from the art style. I love it. I love the onion concept where you just pick out different Pikmin because you can only have 100, so you have to pick your different colours carefully. You have the red Pikmin who can withstand fire, you have the yellow Pikmin that can withstand electricity, blue Pikmin that can go underwater without dying. You know, it's all this sort of stuff, and I love it. I can't remember if white Pikmin actually have... I know they poison enemies when they get eaten, but I can't remember if they actually have an ability. Can it go through poison clouds or something like that? Maybe? I don't know. But yeah, Pikmin 3, that's my one. Okay, sports games. I'm not a sports game fan. The only serious sports game I ever played that I enjoyed was FIFA 64, but I was so young I think I would have liked any video game and, you know, been happy with it. But yeah, I went back to play it when I got my N64 back out a couple of years back, and I still enjoyed it, strangely. I don't like any of the modern FIFAs. I think they've gone realistic and boring, but back then when they were little dots running around, it was a bit different. But no, my favourite sports game has to be Wii Sports. It is a casual sort of game, but specifically the tennis part. I used to love it. It's so basic, just flipping the Wiimote about and hitting the ball back and forth. There wasn't too much skill to it, but oh, I enjoyed it. It was back when I used to have people around my house. You know, we can't do that anymore. Or we can a little bit now, but I haven't. And just sitting around a game and just playing together, you know? Not online, just together. And I miss that a little bit. So, this Wii Sports, Wii Tennis. I like the bowling as well. I can't remember what other games were in the package. I don't know. Next up, racing. Now, serious racing games I can't get into. Like there was Need for Speed Hot Pursuit on PS1 I enjoyed for the sake of the gimmick, you know, the police and all that. But that's about it. When it comes to serious ones, I find it a bit dull going up the gears, down the gears, trying to go around bends properly and things like that. I don't know, it's not for me. But I do like the cartoony ones. So my favourite one is Mario Kart 8. It's got tons of characters, it's got the best music by far, it's got probably most of the best tracks. I wish it had, is it called Maple Highway? Maple Treeway? Way up in the trees with like autumn leaves everywhere, you know. I wish it had that as one of the Retro Cups tracks, but it didn't, I don't think. So, it's still my favourite one. It's amazing, it's seriously amazing. I love the gravity sort of concept. I love just boosting around the place, it's good. Which reminds me, I got Crash Team Racing to play, but I haven't tried it yet. I bought it ages ago. Bought it cheap. Yeah. So that's racing. MMOs. Okay, so another genre I don't play, but there's two MMOs I've played throughout my life. RuneScape, back when it was free. It might still be, I don't know. I didn't like it at all. The other one, Final Fantasy 14. I loved it. It's like, they say, a lot of people who play Final Fantasy 14, even if they don't like MMOs, they enjoy this one. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because they're Final Fantasy fans already and it's getting to see all the Final Fantasy-ness in a big sort of open world. Might be that. It's also like, you go through you have primals, the big bosses and stuff that all get together and fight, and they're exciting. Just taking on Shiva and its little Ramu and loads of the other ones. I'd like to see Doom Train one day. That'd be exciting. Ozma's my favourite. My favourite primal. If it's considered a primal, I think so. But yeah, Ozma, because nobody else could do it, and I was pretty good at it, and that doesn't happen very often on the game. So I like that. Funnily enough. But yeah, Final Fantasy 14, my MMO of all time. The only one I've liked. Puzzle games. Okay, so standard puzzle games. Tetris DS was my favourite. I used to play it online. I used to love it. I used to get so addicted. It was back when I was in 6th form, and then we'd all get together, like 10 of us with Tetris DS, and just play against each other. And I was actually decent at it. I like games I'm good at. Weirdly. And that's definitely my favourite. I love the speediness of the DS version. I love the onlineness, which is gone now, unfortunately. Yeah, everything about it was just perfect for a Tetris game, and Tetris is addictive already. I like the Switch one as well, the Tetris Royale? Tetris 99. There we go. I enjoyed that as well, I just didn't get too into it, you know. So that's my favourite puzzle game. But in terms of like subgenres, it's the like, do you know the environmental puzzle games like Limbo? Like you just run across the screen to go figure out how to get throughout the stage by pulling and pushing things and playing with the environment, like Limbo. My favourite one of those sorts of indie sort of things, was Little Nightmares. That was an incredible game. I got it on my channel actually if you want to see it. It's only short. The second game is really good as well. I'm not sure which is my favourite of the two. I think the creatures in the first game were better, but the second game just stepped it up quality-wise, maybe. They're very similar games, you know. So they're both really good. If you haven't played them before or seen them, they're just, yeah, they're like Limbo, but you just have like more horror elements. You have these big boss characters that can chase you and sort of scream, and you've got the horror music going. It's that sort of thing, really. But the story's good as well. It's all really creative and well done, really well done. It might be indie-ish, but it's good indie. Like there's some bad stuff out there. I don't mean to be critical of like indie developers where obviously they're gonna have budget and all that, but I feel like there's a lot of bad ones out there. If you look through Steam and even the PSN store and all that. What else? Other puzzle games. Oh, the proper sort of puzzles with riddles and things like that. Obviously Layton for me. Obviously. I don't know which Layton game. I haven't really thought that one through enough. I think the first game was the one that held onto my sort of memory the most. But I don't know. I think the first game, I would have to say The Curious Village. Is when it was more surprising to be really good. Next up, FPSs. Okay, so there's a lot of FPSs that are really brown and black and grey and COD-ish, and I like some COD on multiplayer. I played enough Black Ops, a ton of it, with people I go to my forum with. But it's not COD that's my favourite FPS. It is Killer 7. If I played this as a Capcom game, proper Japanese horror elements to it. Elements gave me the shit out when I first played on GameCube. Oh, it's so hard to explain because it's so quirky, so weird. It's like, go play it. You have like 6 or 7, yeah, Killer 7. You have 7 characters to choose between. You can change whenever you want, pretty much. And they all have their special abilities and things like that. You can upgrade them. And there's a Killer 8 mode when you finish, which brings in Harmon, the guy in the wheelchair with like, I think he's got a rocket launcher or something. Or was it a sniper? No, rocket launcher, I think. Something like that. But yeah, Killer 7 was incredible. Like, I played it quite a few times, and it's worth a go. Just try it. It's on Steam, I think, so give it a go. Third-person shooter. Okay, this is trickier. I've gone for Uncharted. Uncharted 1 was always my favourite of the series. I haven't played the 4th one yet. I've gone for it just because I like Nathan Drake. I like his attitude when it comes to the other characters, his humour, the Naughty Dog sort of humour that you get out of it. And it's just fun, it's charming, it's easy going, as long as you're not going for platinum. I did go for platinum on the first one, and crushing the hardest mode is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But you get through it, you just gotta keep trying and trying and trying. You get through it. Yeah, I liked Uncharted, I like the Indiana Jones / Tomb Raider style of it, hunting for treasure. Yeah, it's a good one. Next up, horror. So this could come into the shooter, first person or third person again, and it's coming between like 4 games in the same series that I can't decide between. It's either Resident Evil Remake, Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil Code Veronica, or Resident Evil 4. I love all 4 of them. I love horror games from all different series as well. I love the Silent Hills, I love the Project Zeros or Fatal Frames. I love Haunting Ground, that's amazing. But Resi has always stuck with me the most, and I think I have to go with Resi 4, even though there's a bit of action, a bit more action to it as well. It's still scary enough, always when I first played it. You still got the Regenerators and the Spike Maidens, and the general horror vibe of the castle and the village. And playing through Resident Evil 8 recently has made me realise how good 4 was. Like, I knew before, but made me realise how much better 4 was than 8. You can copy things in a game, but it still won't be as good. That's what 8 taught me. 4 is better. So that's my favourite one. Next up, rhythm games. Okay, rhythm music. There are a few I've played. I've played a few on the Switch specifically, where you have to use it just on the tablet, on the console itself. And it's mostly piano ones, and I've enjoyed them. But the best one for me is Rhythm Paradise on DS. I can't remember the specific name of it now. I think it might just be called Rhythm Paradise. Rhythm Heaven outside of the UK, I think. It's quirky. It's sort of like WarioWare, but with rhythm games. It's so good because the music's amazing. Like, for a music rhythm game, the music's normally not that great for some reason, in my experience. But in this game, oh, it's so good. It's so catchy. Proper J-pop and stuff like that, which I don't normally listen to unless it's from a game. But these are really good. And you tap away with it. I think you can use the buttons as well, but I tapped because that's the whole point of the game. It was making use of the DS functions, you know. Yeah. Okay, party game. My one, unsurprisingly, is from the Mario Party games, and the one specifically, Mario Party 1, because it's the one I have the most nostalgia for. It's like, it had Minigame Island where you could go through all the minigames and try and beat them all without losing too much. And it was just so fun, and I used to enjoy it with my mates. There's so many games I prefer from like Mario Party, maybe 4 or 5, I think, Fish Upon a Star, and Bowser's Big and Bigger Blast, and things like that. But the first game just holds so much nostalgia for me, I gotta choose it. I'm one of those types of people though. I like nostalgia, I like my memories. I live in the past sometimes. Okay, this was one. I had to ask someone to name a few sort of obscure genres for me, and this was one that popped up from him. Crime genre, which I never thought of for games. I always thought of it for films and stuff, but not games. But in terms of crime, X-Files for the PS1 has to be the one. You never know. Is it crime? I don't know. It's close. I know you could choose your Mafias, your Grand Theft Autos, things like that. But no, I went for X-Files for PS1. It's so good. The FMVs throughout it, getting to pretty much be a part of the X-Files world, the sort of TV series, in a game. This is intended to be part of the canon and all that. So it's just good. You just gotta be careful. Part towards the end where you can really get stuck and have to start the game again. But other than that, I loved it. I just loved it. I guess also that would come into the sci-fi genre, and that would be my choice for that as well as a double whammy. Right, next up, let's go back to normal stuff. 2D platformers. My favourite one has to be Rayman Legends, and that is because it has the music stages and you can play in co-op. But even when you're playing in co-op, it's still hectic, and you're not waiting for each other. You can't wait for each other, you're going too fast most of the time. But yeah, I haven't played it on co-op, by the way, but I've seen a Let's Play of it on co-op, and I know how it goes. But the music stages are the main reason. They're so good. Like, the way they've got, who's singing it? It's not the Teen Seas. They've got famous songs, but done in Rayman sort of voice style, you know. It works in a funny way. It doesn't improve the song, don't get me wrong, but it works in a funny way. Yeah, another contender for that would have been Sonic for Master System. That's my first ever game, and one that I used to play with my dad, so this holds that sort of element. And I prefer it to the Mega Drive one by far. Sorry if you can hear that. It might be a hairdryer, it might be a vacuum cleaner. Either way, let's keep going. 3D platformers. Okay, Banjo-Kazooie. Hands down Banjo-Kazooie. Specifically the 360 version, it improved on so much. The 360 version made it so you didn't have to collect all the notes again if you died. It stored things, you know. It's just essentially the same as Mario 64, but instead of just being in the castle, you're also going around a place called Gruntilda's Lair, Gruntilda being the witch, who's the big villain, and going to different jigsaw puzzles and going inside the worlds when you finish the jigsaw puzzles and collecting more jigsaw pieces, jiggies, to head on over to other puzzles in different worlds. You also collect musical notes, which open up musical doors so you can progress further into Gruntilda's Lair. You collect loads of different things to make your way through and make yourself stronger and things like that. It's a 3D platformer done perfectly for me. Like Banjo-Tooie, the sequel, was too big for me. You had to return to different worlds and stuff. When in Banjo-Kazooie you never had to do that. I think maybe you had to do it once at one point, if you wanted to 100% it. But Banjo-Tooie was just continuous, going through different worlds and repeating. I didn't like it very much. I was very disappointed in it. But everyone else says it's a massive improvement of Kazooie, so depends how you look at it. Yeah, Banjo-Kazooie for sure. It's the conversations and the relationship between Banjo-Kazooie as well. They're amazing. They are definitely amazing. Hack and slash, okay. A genre I don't play often, I'm not very good at it. Even though you're just mashing buttons, I'm still not very good at it for whatever reason. Hack and slash, I love Bayonetta 1 specifically. I think Bayonetta 1 has the better characters, the better story, the better cinematics for me. Bayonetta 2 is good as well, don't get me wrong, I love the Christmassiness of that cinematic, I think, at the start of the game. But I prefer the first one. It's just one that clung on to me more. I've been playing through the Devil May Cry games, so that might take over soon. I've played the first three, and I haven't seen the hype too much, especially the third one, which everyone is just raving about. I haven't seen the hype too much, and they're not going to get better as they go on. 5 is meant to be good, and that's a modern game, so I might do a bit better with that, you know. Okay, so Bayonetta is cheesy, is over the top, it's very camp, and she's a bit of a slut, so you know it's funny. I don't know how else to put that. Visual novels. Okay, this is a genre I like, but for some reason haven't played too many of. I've played Higurashi, going through Yuminiko on the channel now. I've played the Phoenix Wright games, or most of them. I've played the Danganronpa games. I've played a lot of them, but for some reason I haven't played a huge amount, like I would expect to, because I like them. But my favourite one, I think, is Danganronpa 1, and that is because I love the concept of them all being chucked in a school, all of them having ultimate skills, so you know they're going to get involved, and even when you think you know what's coming, you don't. Some of the more powerful students, the ones who are like the athlete, the ultimate athlete or whatever, I'm not, this is an example, it's not actually what happens, but they might not actually do that well. They might go out really early because the weaker ones see them as a threat and then kill them off, and they're not going to win because only one's going to be allowed to leave the prison, the school, at the end of it. And then there's the sort of Ace Attorney style trials near the end with its own minigames and its own slant on all that. So yeah, incredible. The 3 games are really good. Ultra Despair Girls is a different beast and not that good, in my opinion. But the 3 visual novel style ones are incredible and well worth your time. Again, all on my channel. Most of these, to be fair, most of these games are going to be on there because I like the game so much, so I would have let's played them. They're going to be on the channel somewhere. Yeah. So, I love the death sequences as well. Like where they go in, when the punishment is happening after the trial. I love those a lot. Real life sim. So we're going back to simulation again. And real life sim, by this I mean like the dating sims, the things like that. My favourite one is Persona 5. Might be an odd one because it's not completely real life sim. It's also part RPG, it's part, you know, it's that sort of thing. But you do get to talk to people, whoever you want. You get to go around the city and do what you like. So I would consider it part sim like that. And it's just fun. And the fact that it boosts, doing that sort of thing boosts what you can do in the dungeons. Your stats, your abilities and things. It just makes it all the better. I don't like many of them, so I had to go with something like this. Fighters. Don't play many fighters. I used to play Soul Calibur 2, and I used to, only the one with Link on the GameCube version. Get that bug net out, and the Great Fairy Sword. But no, 2D ones not so much, not like that anyway. I like Smash Bros. I like my Nintendo. I grew up with Nintendo. I don't like the Switch one as much because there's too much going on. It's like there's a million different characters. A lot of them samey, a lot of them just pointless, a lot of them from outside Nintendo stuff, which is interesting. I get it, but it's not for me. It's a Nintendo game celebrating Nintendo history to me, and that's not when they bring in loads of outside characters from, you know, Metal Gear and things. Yeah, they've been on Nintendo consoles, but they're not Nintendo characters. But that's me. That's me. And yeah, so I think Smash Bros Brawl. I played Melee the most, but I can see how basic it is now looking back. And Brawl has the right level of a good amount of characters, good roster, and being back when only 1 or 2 other characters came into it from outside, which made it more of a interesting thing rather than a gimmick that was being used all the time, you know, for millions of them. Okay. Mobile games. I've lumped this into one because I only ever play. I don't play them. I've gone for Simpsons Tapped Out. This is the game I played for a long time. Like, I'd be at work, I'd hear, I think Homer says something when you're ready to build something else, because you're making Springfield, you're making a town, and you can only do a certain amount per day unless you put money into it. I never put money into it, not real life money, so I was waiting a lot, and then whenever I heard him shout on my phone notification, I'd be able to do something at work. I'd go for a break and do it. It was pretty sad, but I was pretty addicted. So there's that. I also played Candy Crush, but I wasn't that much of a fan. It was just something to do, you know. So yeah, Simpsons Tapped Out because I love the Simpsons as well. At least the older Simpsons. I haven't watched it for quite a few seasons now, I don't think. Probably quite a few seasons. It's been a few years. There was one other genre I was going to add. It was in my head instead of written down. I can't remember what it was now. But yeah, that's all I can think of. There's probably tons more genres I haven't touched. Make a list of yours. Chuck it in the comments, or make a video and link it in the... You might spam, but I'll try and... If I get a notification, I'll spam it and you can do what you like that. But, I mean, chuck your favourite games from different genres and I'll be interested to see in the comments. It'd be nice. Anyways, that's it. This has been Greeny XI. Hope you've enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in a bit with whatever else comes up. See you in a bit, folks.